Hello, and welcome to History Test, where we teach you everything you need to know for your upcoming test.
In this video, we will be doing an overview of World War I. This is the first in a trilogy of videos we will be doing about World War I, the interwar years, and World War II.
Alright, let's get started. So let's start off with what causes the war in the first place. We're talking deep causes here.
Basically, during the Industrial Revolution, Britain was the king.
But during this time, Germany had surpassed Britain, and Britain saw Germany as a threat.
Militarism and nationalism also helped.
Now let's get to the actual war.
On June 28, 1914, the Archduke of Austria was assassinated by a Serbian nationalist named Gavrilo Princip.
The next day, I'm talking 24 hours, Austria-Hungary declared war on Serbia. And because Russia had a mutual protection agreement with Serbia, they were pulled in. And Germany had an alliance with Austria-Hungary, and because they wanted to anyway, they declared war on Russia and France in August, which draws France into the mix. Then 3 days later, when Germany tries to invade France through Belgium, who is allies with Britain, who then declares war on Germany, it's just such a mess.
This is why mutual protection agreements are a bad idea, kids.
The more you know.
Now that war was actually declared, fighting started. And how did they fight? Why, trench warfare, of course.
Ew, I hate trench warfare.
I know, right? Anyway, trench warfare was when there was a trench dug and people stood in them, and sometimes they went over the top, but they almost always died in the process.
Even if they were successful, the other side would just move back and the whole process would start again.
Sometimes they used gas.
Yeah, but usually the gas backfired and killed a bunch of their own men.
Around this time, the U.S. entered the war.
1915 to be precise, when the Lusitania was sunk by the Germans, killing 120 of which were Americans.
There was also this thing called the Zimmerman telegram that was sent to Mexico by the Germans saying if they attacked the U.S., then they would get Texas, Arizona, and New Mexico.
This, coupled with the Lusitania, got Americans mad, so they entered the war.
Here are some important battles you should know. Ready? Go!
The Battle of Verdun, 1916.
The Battle of the Marne, 1914.
The Second Battle of the Marne, 1918.
The Battle of Ypres, 1914.
The Second Battle of Ypres, 1915.
The Third Battle of Ypres, 1917.
The Battle of Somme, 1916.
The Battle of Cambrai, 1917.
Now let's get to the home front. Because all of the men were off at the war, women had to fill their roles in factories and other jobs.
Hashtag girl power!
Riots also occurred because the supplies were being donated for the war effort, causing shortages.
Breaking news! Breaking news! Russia leaves the war!
Let's go to our on-site reporter to hear more about this. How's it looking out there?
Thanks, Megan. It's a bad scene out here in the motherland. Russia has had a withdrawal from the war because of numerous civil wars and other conflicts in Russia.
So first there was the February Revolution, which actually happened in March, which caused Tsar Nicholas II to abdicate.
Then a provisional government took over, controlled by Alexander Kerensky. He wanted to stay in the war, but everybody else was like, no, that's exactly what we didn't want. And that's why we threw the other guy. So then soldiers start leaving the front and peasants take over land, and it's just a huge mess.
Wait, look over in the distance. It's a bird. It's a plane. No, it's dun 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 Lenin. With him, we can have another revolution, which will be called the October Revolution. But it really will happen in November. Then we can make communism the main thing in Russia.
At this point, the Russians realized getting out of the war was probably the best idea. So this guy named Trotsky negotiated a treaty that would get Russia out of the war.
Yay!
But it also lost Russia huge parts of their empire.
Boo! The old Tsar supporters didn't like this very much and decided to have another civil war that lasted from 1918 to 1921.
Yeah, but we'll get into that during the next video on the interwar years.
Because Russia left the war, Germany could pull their troops from the Russian front and focus on the West front.
But this didn't really work because by June of 1918, Germany had lost over 800,000 troops.
The Germans made their last push in the Battle of Marne too. This time, it's personal.
The French stopped them, and the armistice, or ceasefire, was signed on 11/11/18 at 11 a.m.
Then negotiations started for a treaty to actually end the war. This was difficult because everybody wanted different things.
The U.S., a.k.a. Woodrow Wilson, had a 14-point plan. Some of these points were a reduction in arms, self-determination, and the creation of the League of Nations.
France wanted to punish Germany hard and make them pay massive amounts of money in reparations.
Britain was somewhere in between US and France. They wanted to punish Germany, but not weaken it because it was necessary to stop the spread of communism. Okay, everyone should gasp when I say communism. So let's try that again. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Communism.
And Italy just wanted more land here.
What they eventually agreed upon was the Treaty of Versailles, which, pardon my French, vraiment c'est sur la Manche.
The German government was changed to democracy. They had to pay $33 billion in reparations, which was later raised to $56 billion. The German military reduced their colonies and was given to other colonies, and some of the lands they had conquered were given to 7 other countries.
The Ottoman and Austro-Hungarian Empire were broken into various countries and states.
And the League of Nations was created, just like the US wanted.
Yeah, but they didn't join.
Why would anyone make an empire out of furniture? That doesn't make sense.
Anyway, there were lots of changes as a result of World War I, like how women are now employed to doing things, like go in public unescorted by men, live in their own apartments, and vote.
There were also many new nations or nation-states created.
It also lays the groundwork for World War II.
So that's it for our video on World War I. Now you know everything you need to know for your
History
test.
Good luck! All the information in this video was gathered from Mr. Hansen's World History class.
Thank you, Mr. Hansen!